Widespread enrollment fraud at the district's famed Duke Ellington School of the Arts. The Washington Post is reporting tonight that city investigators have examined some 100 cases and uncovered signs that half of those students enrolled at Ellington as D.C. students actually live outside the city. That would be fraud. Out-of-boundary students should be paying $12,000 per year in tuition. 70 students are doing just that. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the state superintendent of schools held a press conference late today. They would not confirm any numbers. They said an ongoing audit is taking place at Ellington and no other D.C. school.
We have no interest in paying for students at our public schools that are not D.C. residents. And that is why we have a very robust system of verification that has been made even more robust in the last year. And so the state superintendent's team is going through, they have to go through now more than 500 students to test this supporting documentation. And we want to be absolutely clear that if a student is not a D.C. resident, first of all, there are enforcement actions that can happen if we believe that there was willful fraud. That information is passed to the office of the Attorney General, who may prosecute. They have chosen to do so in the past. And there's also a process where the student can pay tuition.
The state school superintendent's audit uncovered possible fraud back in December. The Washington Post reports the office intentionally slow-tracked the findings because of the risk of negative publicity during an election year. Now, the superintendent says that's not true. Their investigation into Duke Ellington enrollment is still underway. Here's my question tonight, though. How many offices and how many people does it take to run the D.C. public school system? Bear with me on this. Years ago, voters agreed to abolish the elected school board and allow the mayor to run the schools. Adrian Fenty was mayor at the time. Consider this. And now it stands, we've got Mayor Muriel Bowser at the top of the school administrative ladder, and under the mayor, there is the state superintendent of schools. Then comes the deputy mayor for education, who you might recall recently had to resign, along with the school chancellor, Antoine Wilson. She had to resign because she helped him jump ahead of hundreds of people on a waiting list to get his daughter enrolled at Wilson Senior High School. Now, back to the list. Back to the administration of D.C. schools. Under the chancellor of D.C. schools is the State Board of Education. And most people cannot name a single member of the State Board of Education. I'll bet it. I'll put money on it. Finally, the D.C. Council has a committee on education with its own chairman. And then there is the entire 13-member D.C. Council, which controls the school system's budget. Don't leave anybody out. I'm just saying that seems to be an awful lot of big positions and big people running the D.C. school system. So what do you think of this?